very warm welcome to the second PU English class. So in today's class, I am going to teach you a poem. So the title of the poem is On Children by Khalil Gibran. So Khalil Gibran lived from 1883 to 1931. He is a Lebanese American poet and also an artist. Okay? So here, the Prophet. So Khalil Gibran is best known for his work, The Prophet. Okay? Khalil Gibran is best known for his work, The Prophet. So what is Prophet? It is a book of 26 prose poetry fables. Okay? Prophet is a book of 26 prose poetry fables. So, the poem On Children is a selection from this book, The Prophet. Okay, so the poem On Children has been selected from this book, The Prophet. Understood? Okay. Now here Khalil Gibran has written his book based on different variety of topics. He has written based on, as I told you, he has written based on children. He has written based on love, marriage, law and crime and punishment, buying, selling, etc. So, based on many variety of topics, he has written this book. So, the book Prophet is originally written in English language. But later, this book has become very popular, worldwide popular. For this reason, the book has been translated into 25 different languages. Okay? This book has become worldwide popular. For this reason, the book has been translated into 25 different languages, including Kannada language. Understood? Okay. Now, see, his poems are considered as poetic essays. So why his poems are considered as poetic essays? See here, in order to write some poems, we need to use some certain rules for that. Okay? We need to use some certain rules in order to write a poem. But here, he never followed any traditional style of writing poetry. Okay? For this reason, we can call him as a non-traditional type of poet. Understood? So, he never followed any rhyming skills. He never followed any number of lines in each stanzas. And also, he never followed the length of each lines. Okay, so there was not there any uniformity in the length of the line. At the same time, as I told you before, he never followed any number of lines in each stanzas. So for all these reasons, we can call him as a non-traditional type of poet. Understood? Okay. Now, Khalil Gibran is a spiritual poet. He is a spiritual poet. So he talks more and more about spirituality in his poetry. Understood? See here the poet tries to tell us that how limit our possession should be. How limit our possession should be. Okay, so here see the major theme of the poem is possessiveness. So I think you all are familiar with this word, right? So what is possessiveness? See here, for example, like there is a husband and wife, and if the husband is really very close with some other woman, means automatically the wife will get jealous. So this is what we call it as a possessiveness. At the same time, in return also, if the wife is very close to some other guy, means automatically even the husband will also get some kind of jealous. So this is all what we call it as a possessiveness. And also nowadays, in these days, the parents, they don't have so much time to spend with their children. They don't have so much time to take care of the children because of their busy schedule. Okay, See, for this reason they will appoint some homemaid or some servant to take care of their children. So automatically the kids will be very close to with their homemaid only. So this woman, this mom she will get jealous, some kind of jealous. After all, he is my son, after all, he is my daughter, then why she is not coming close to me? So this is all what we call it as a possessiveness. Understood? Okay. See here. And also at the same time, you just assume like if there is a bird. So if we put a bird in a cage, we will be loving that bird, we will feel very happy by seeing that bird, we will feed some food for that. But does the bird be very happy? Of course not. At least instead of that, if we are letting the bird to fly freely with complete freedom, definitely the bird is going to be very happy. Isn't it? Yes. So this is the message what the poet is giving in this poem. See here, this message is for the parents not to try to control your kids so much. So the parents will think, oh, it's my property, so they will show over possessiveness towards their children. So this poem he is talking about how limit our possession should be. Okay. See, okay, now let us move on to the poem first. So, On Children by Khalil Gibran. So, I hope you all have textbooks in front of you. Okay, I will just read the poem once. And a woman who held a babe against her bosom said, "Speak to us of children." And he said, "Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts. For they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls. For their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. For life goes not backwards, nor tarries with yesterday. You are the bows from which your children as living arrows are sent forth. The archers see the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his might, that his arrows may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be your gladness, for even as he loves the arrow that flies, so he loves also the bow that is stable. So this is the poem. So here, see here the prophet. So the prophet means the person who talks about God or divine in that way. Okay. So here the prophet, he will be roaming from one place to another place by giving some spiritual thoughts to the people, by sharing some spiritual thoughts to the people. So one day what happens? There is a woman who is sitting in front of him with her baby held on her chest. Okay. So she hugs the child very tightly because she loves that baby so much. So this prophet will be keep on observing that lady. Understood? So see here, so the more she loves the baby, she will hug the baby more and more tightly. Okay? So he will be keep on watching everything. So that lady, she will tell to the prophet, okay, today you just speak something about children. Okay, so she asked to the prophet to speak something about the children. At that time, see here in the first line you see in the poem, and a woman who held a babe against her bosom said, Speak to us of children. And he said, here he means he first the woman will be asking to the prophet not to speak something about the children. And he said, he means the prophet, he said, Your children are not your children, they are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. Okay, see here, in this what they have given, the poet is telling like, the humans are the product of this universe. Okay, the humans are the product of this universe, but the parents take credit for giving birth to the children. Here the parents is going to take some credit by giving birth to the children, but the parents are only the medium through which the children are coming to the earth. So understood what I am telling? See, what the poet is talking about here is like, the parents, they show over possessiveness towards the children by thinking it is my property in that way. So here the poet is talking, the humans are the product of this universe, so but the parents will take the credit by giving birth to the children. Okay, but he is talking about the parents are the medium through which the children are coming to this earth. Okay. See, whenever the environment is helpful for growth, the birth takes place again and again. Okay, whenever the environment is helpful for the growth, so the birth takes place again and again. Okay, see, even we can see this in animals also. Even animals also will give birth to their children, but they don't go to bother so much about how human used to think. Even they will be not having any kind of expectations about their children. Okay, I am talking about the animal. See here, what's the difference between the animal and the human beings? Humans have the capacity to think, but animals, they don't have any capacity to think. So automatically it's a human the products, human, not only human beings, all the living beings or whatever it is there in this earth. So everyone has the rights to live. Okay. So here the poet is talking about that even the animals will also give birth to their children, but they don't go to think so much about their children. Even when the child only should find some food for itself. Okay, so he cannot depend on anyone. But what about humans here? The parents will do over pampering to their children. Okay, in that way he is talking. Okay, now when it comes to next line, you understood now the starting 3 lines? Your children are not your children, they are the sons and daughters of life longing for itself. Understood? So in the next line, they come through you but not from you, and though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. Okay? So in this lines also, Gibran words are about the possessiveness of parents towards their kids. Okay, so here, as I told you before, the parents are the medium through which the children are coming to this earth, but the children are not the possessions of their parents. Okay, yes, of course, through parents we all are coming to this earth, isn't it? But here the parents should not they should not dominate, or they should never try to control by thinking in that reason, oh, it's my product, it's my son, in that way. So here, but children are not the possessions of their parents. Okay? Okay. So here each of us is holding our children in trust for future. Understood? Here, see, we need to take care of our children till they become independent. Okay, we need to the poet is telling to the parents. Okay, So we need to take care of our children till they are independent, how our parents and also grandparents did. It's right now how our parents and also grandparents, how they say even they used to take care of their kids until they are independent. Later they will focus on their own life, isn't it? So here the poet is talking, we need to take care of our children till they are independent, just as our parents and also our grandparents did. And so the lives moves forward. Okay, in the next line, you might give them your love but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. In this line what he is talking about is like the only gift we can give to our children is the gift of love. Okay, so the poet is telling that to give unconditional love for your kids, then definitely the children will remember the unconditional love which they have received from their parents. Okay, so here we need to prepare our children for life. So the preparation is not the same as filling some kind of our own thoughts in their mind with our own thoughts, fulfillment, some desires and expectations. See here, what the poet is telling is like, see, there are some parents, oh, he is my son, he is my daughter, so she should be like me, she should listen to my words, she should lead her life as I wish, in that way. So she should or he should fulfill my own dreams in that way. There are some parents, they will be like that only. Even the children, they don't have any rights upon their life. Simply how the parents will telling, in that way only they should live. So here the poet is talking, that is not the right way, that is not good. See, every individual has the rights upon their life. Every human has the rights to live in this earth, isn't it? So he is talking like nobody should over dominate or nobody should try to control their children so much. Okay, so every individual has some kind of rights in their life, every individual having their dreams or goals or desires or whatever, destiny, everything. Okay? Okay, then he is telling the best preparation for life is for children to learn how to think for themselves. So how you have to what you have to teach to your children? See, what he is telling, the best preparation for the life is for your children to learn how to think for themselves without depending on anyone. Okay, that's what you should teach for your children. See, the parents' role is to guide them through this long journey. So the parents' role is to teach them with good character, good moral values, and how to think for themselves without depending on anyone else. So these are all the roles that parents used to play through their children's journey. Okay, now we can go to next line. You may house their bodies but not their souls. For their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. Okay, so in this line the poet is talking about the parents need to take care of the basic needs of their children. So the parents need to take care of the basic need of their children. So each of our previous generation has lived in a different environment than the one we live in. Okay, so it is going to be with our children also. See here in this line the poet is talking about the generation gap, isn't it? See, you only just think that the costumes which we wear, at the same time the lifestyle which we are living, that definitely our parents, at the same time our grandparents, they won't accept it so much. isn't it? So you just assume like how was the environment or how was the society before 10 or 20 years before. When we compare to that time, at present there is a lot of changes. Even the technology is also tremendously, it's increasing, it's improving, isn't it? For this reason there is a lot of changes in our lifestyles. So he is talking about the generation gap also. So here the parents should try to understand through the children perspective. Okay. So their world, so see, their world will be different than ours. So here the poet is telling to their parents, their world, our children's world will be different than ours. So be confident that our children are well equipped to deal with the future they will live in, just like we were lived, just where we equipped for the world we lived in. So here is talking about, you don't want to worry so much about your kids by thinking about their future, everything. See, they know to manage how to live. You just try to teach them very good character, good moral values, everything, good things in their life. Then of course they know to manage their life how we are managing now. Okay, don't want to overthink so much about their life. Okay. So each generation's role is to live the world a little better than the one they inherited. Apart from love, that is the biggest gift we can give to our children. Okay, next line. So you may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. For life goes not backward, nor tarries with yesterday. See, in this line also, the poet is talking about children always live in the present without any regrets about the past or worries of the future. So elders need to learn this attitude from the children. See, as you all know, the children will be there, their mind are like they are very innocent, no? They will be simply playing, dancing, eating, studying, that's all. They don't want to think so much about their past, at the same time they don't want to think so much about their future also, isn't it? So for this reason what he is telling, this kind of attitude should learn from children by their parents. Okay, the elders should learn this kind of attitude from children. Okay, the elders, they will be keep on thinking about their past. So there is nothing use, there is no use of simply thinking about their past, because we cannot change our past, isn't it? At the same time, we don't have, there is no use of simply thinking about the future also. What he is telling is like to live just very happily in our present. Just think about the present and live very happily. Okay. So most of us will know the meaning of life or value of life very late. So the best we can do is to live our life the best way we can live in the present. Okay. So the next line, you are the bows from which your children as living arrows are sent for. Okay. So in this line, say, the Gibran draws a beautiful analogy here by calling parents as bows and the children as arrows. Okay, here the poet is calling the parents as bow and the children as arrow. I think you all know very well about bow and arrow, no? So in Kannada we call it as a Villu Bana. So here the poet is comparing their parents as bow and the children as arrows. Okay. So here the parents' role is to be an arrow their powers to their children's journey. So here the parents' role is to pass or transfer their power to their children's journey, which is aimed towards the future the children will live in. Okay. The more flexible the bow, the more it bends. So the more flexible the bow is, the more it goes to bend. the stronger the bowstring is. You know the bowstring, there will be one string no, on the bow. So he is talking about the how strong the bowstring is, the more it can be stretched and the more it can pass the power to the arrow. So here how strong the parents are, how open-minded, how broad-minded the parents are, definitely the more power can pass to their children as well. Okay. So how strong the aim is, more accurately the arrow will fly on its journey. Okay. So in the next line, the archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his might, that will arrows make go swift and far. See here, the Gibran refers to God as the archer. So here he indicates the line archer, no? Indicate the word archer. So this word is indicate to God. Okay, so what he is telling is like, so God's role is using the bow, using the parents to send the forth of their children towards an infinite future. So according to the poet, here he is talking about the God is the creator of this universe, at the same time the God is the creator of the children. So the God will send the children through through the medium parents. Okay, so here this the God will send the children to the parents in order to they should take care of them until when they get independent. Okay. Then later, okay, he is talking about, in this line what he is telling is like, every individual is having, as I told you before, every individual have some kind of desires, expectations, dreams, destiny, goals, everything in their life. So nobody tries to dominate or anyone, or nobody tries to control over anyone. That is really, it's not at all good. Okay, every individual have some kind of dreams in their life, so let them live happily. So here he is telling to the parents how limit the possessiveness should be towards their children. Okay, so we have reached here today standing on the achievements of the past generation. So this cycle of life will continue. We just need to perform our role which we are assigned to do it. Okay, then next line. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness, for even as he loves the arrow that flies, so he loves also the bow that is stable. Okay, so here he is talking about the children as arrow go into the future to become bow for their own children, and so on the cycle of life will continue. So in the last lines what the poet is talking about, see, one day even our children will become parents, and of course they will be having some children. So here what the poet is telling, keep these points in your mind. So this life cycle will be keep on repeating. So you should never, even our children one day they will become parent, even they should never try to over control or over possessiveness to their children. Okay, our efforts in the present should driven by unselfishness, love, kindness, and humbly accepting the part we play in this journey of our life. So in this poem on children, he is talking about the how limit our possessiveness should be towards our children. Okay, so this is all about the poem on children by Khalil Gibran. Thank you.